Night vision goggles, famously developed and deployed by the US military, have fundamentally changed how nighttime operations are conducted, giving those who wear them a significant tactical edge. At their most basic, NODs, which stands for Night Observation Devices, take in tiny amounts of ambient light, moonlight, starlight, even infrared that would be invisible to the naked human eye, and amplify it electronically to create a visible image. Some modern NODs also incorporate an IR illuminator, like a flashlight that only the wearer can see, which allows them to see in complete darkness. They can also detect if someone is using an IR laser or beacon to target them or signal to their allies. Early versions of NODs were bulky and required large, powerful IR searchlights to illuminate the target area. These were called Gen 0 sniper scopes, and they were first deployed in World War II. Their size and the fact that they required a lot of power made them impractical for anything but the most specialized users. It wasn't until the Vietnam War that passive NODs, which could gather starlight and ambient light without a large searchlight, became available. Still, they were large, heavy, and had a very short range. They also required at least some ambient light to work, which is why soldiers referred to them as light buckets. The image they produced was also blurry and distorted at the edges, but these early Gen 1 nods did allow for night patrols and ambushes and were a huge improvement over nothing. By the 1980s and 90s, Gen 2 and 2 NODs featuring a new technology called the microchannel plate, or MCP, became available. This dramatically improved the amplification, resolution, and reliability of the image. They were smaller, lighter, and performed much better in lower light conditions. By the end of the Cold War, they had become standard infantry equipment. The 1990s saw the introduction of Gen 3 nods, which used photocathodes made of gallium arsenide that could amplify and resolve even tiny amounts of light. This made them vastly superior to previous generations. They could operate in near darkness and see targets at much greater distances. Gen 3 improved upon this by being able to see targets better in extreme low light conditions, and also by being able to gate or ignore bright light sources like a spotlight or a laser. This is the current US military standard. While distinct from image intensifying NODs, thermal imaging sites that can detect the heat signature of objects have also become common. Although they don't show an image in the way that we traditionally think of seeing, they are often integrated into the same helmet and used alongside NODs. They are particularly useful in absolute darkness, smoke, fog, camouflage, etc. But perhaps the greatest impact of nods has been the ability to operate and fight effectively around the clock, eliminating the historical night advantage that defenders, raiders, or guerrilla forces enjoyed. Before NODs, night was a time for resting, a time when soldiers knew that their enemies would be limited or halted. With NODs, this all changed. Units could now maintain a 24-hour operational tempo. They could conduct reconnaissance, surveillance, target acquisition, and movement across an entire theater of operations throughout the night, keeping constant pressure on the enemy. And they could do all of this while having superior situational awareness. Soldiers could navigate complex terrain, identify threats, and coordinate movements and engagements without the cover of darkness. And because friendly forces could identify each other just as easily as they could the enemy, incidents of blue-on-blue friendly fire were reduced. NODs also allowed smaller units to operate with greater confidence and effect at night, making them a force multiplier with the element of surprise. Those with NODs could attack when and where they chose, not when the enemy did. Initiative is, after all, the essence of maneuver warfare. Surprise initiative, reduced vulnerability, and superior target engagement are a potent tactical edge on the modern battlefield. To watch the full video on night vision goggles, check the description below.